Hey everybody, hope your day is going well. We are back with Bob Dylan. A hard rain's gonna fall. And I've seen this one recommended quite a few times, so here we are. Also, Subterranean Homesick Blues. I did react to it, but because it was the video, it got blocked on YouTube. So hopefully that will get resolved. In the meantime, I'll put it on the free tier of my Patreon. So you could watch it there. But eventually, it will get posted on YouTube, but it can take a while sometimes for that to get fixed. So there we go. And let's go with this one. I'm looking forward to this song because I've seen it quite a few times in the comments.
Oh, where have you been, my blue-eyed son? And where have you been, my darling young one? I've stumbled on the side of 12 misty mountains. I've walked and I crawled on 6 crooked highways. I've stepped in the middle of 7 sad forests. I've been out in front of a dozen dead oceans. I've been 10,000 miles in the mouth of a graveyard. And it's a hard rain you're gonna fall.
Wow, man. Already, his lyrics are so dense, man. It's like, wow, you almost... There's a lot to talk about always. That's why, he is Bob Dylan, right? Because, he has so many awards and accolades and people even study him in class. There's books written. I've heard somebody wrote a book just on one song. I think it was like a Rolling Stone. So like what it spawned, his art already is insane. Like all these videos here, that's amazing. But to me, these first lines is almost about struggle, about human struggle. Because stumbling on the side of 12 misty mountains, those are obstacles in life. And he's saying, I've walked it. I've struggled. I've walked and crawled on 6 crooked highways. Because even in my own writing, you make those analogies of, like in life, you go sideways, you don't always stay on track. Even 7 sad forests, sometimes you're way off track, that and the way back to your main road is now overgrown with weeds and you don't even know how to get back. 7 sad forests, even 7 continents on the world. So that's also an important number. Like 12 is an important number too, right? If you look at history, a lot of 12s. But and I've been in front of a dozen dead oceans. Of course, there's no 12 oceans in this world, but sometimes we use that metaphor of an ocean and a dark in the depths of disparity or depression. We use that as a metaphor. So what I'm seeing is like, yeah, man, I have these mountains. I've done the crooked things, the ways in my life. I've not always walked the straight and narrow, and 1,000 miles in the mouth of the grave. I've looked death in the eyes, or I've seen a lot of death. So, man, wow, already, just to me, so much visual and poetic lines about struggle, in my opinion. That's incredible. That's good stuff. Love it.
It's a hard rain you're gonna fall. Oh, what did you see, my blue-eyed son?
Oh, you change it up.
And what did you see, my darling young one? I saw a newborn baby with wild wolves all around it. I saw a highway of diamonds with nobody on it. I saw a black branch with blood that kept dripping. I saw a room full of men with their hammers a-bleeding. I saw a white ladder all covered with water. I saw 10,000 talkers whose tongues were all broken. I saw guns and sharp swords in the hands of young children. And it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, and it's a hard, it's a hard rain. They're gonna fall.
Damn, man. Each time I listen to a new Dylan song, I need to like learn more about the man himself. So that documentary people recommended, I think Scorsese directed it. I definitely need to find it. And just I want to know like what inspired him to be or what made him to be this way. Because all these songs he's written it at such a young age. Like what? That is just mind blowing. You know, you can write when you're young, but you're writing this stuff? Like how? Maybe it was a different time as well, and you know, maybe we're distracted by dumber entertainment now, so that we reach maturity at a much later age. You know, I don't know. It could be right. It could be something to that. But like so many lines in here again, this is a new, now he changed it up. Instead of where have you been? What did you see, my blue-eyed son? And blue-eyed son, maybe the representation of innocence, maybe. I saw a newborn baby with wild wolves all around it. There's a lot of predators out there, preying on the innocent. And a highway of diamonds, nobody on it. It's like almost that's missed opportunity to me. There's something out there. There's a highway of diamonds, but not a lot of people get the opportunity to be on it. And then a black branch with blood that kept dripping, maybe death. A room full of men with hammers, bleeding, like physical labor. There's a lot of people that have to be really working, their ass off until they're literally bleeding to make money. But a white ladder covered with water, that's almost like societal ladder, which could be, perceived as white, especially in those times, maybe still to this day. Gets harder to get up there. Not everybody gets equal opportunity. Again, that highway of diamonds and 10,000 talkers with broken tongues, maybe politicians. I'm not sure. Because then guns and sharp swords, a hand of young children, child soldiers. We see it. In parts of the world, man. That's wow. Yo, he did not pull any punches, man. He did not pull any punches with his music. Respect.
They're gonna fall. What did you hear, my blue-eyed son? And what did you hear, my darling young one? I heard the sound of a thunder that roared out a warning. I heard the roar of a wave that could drown the whole world. I heard 100 drummers whose hands were ablazing. I heard 10,000 whispering and nobody listening. I heard one person starve. I heard many people laughing.
Oh my God.
I heard the song of a poet who died in the gutter. I heard the sound of a clown who cried in the alley. And it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard, it's a hard rains are gonna fall.
Ooh, wow. Wow, that verse is amazing. Oh my God, it keeps getting better. Love the album cover too. I'm really drawn to that. The Volkswagen, the VW van there. I think this is Manhattan probably. You got the snow. Oh man, such a great. It's almost like a Woody Allen movie I'm watching here. Yeah, man. Like now he's what did you hear? And now and oh, that's such a great concept. He's actually asking where did you go? What have you seen? What did you hear? And then goes on and answering that. And this one really has a feeling of impending doom to it, almost war, right? Because he says a sound of a thunder that roared out a warning. We have that here. What was it? Every first Thursday of the month in Belgium, we have that. That's a test. A few years ago, the Germans did invade Belgium. You might know this. But yeah, like now, man, this is really relevant now, man. Oof. Aren't we scared of that alarm with all these people who have, the power at their fingertips, to nuke us to death? Scary shit. If I need to, I don't even, I try not to think about it too much or you go nuts. So yeah, that roar of a wave that could drown the whole world, a tsunami, right? Ooh. And then 100 drummers whose hands were ablaze in battle. Like almost in a fantasy story, but in real life, they use the drummers too, Oh my God. 10,000 whispering, nobody listening, the innocent people. We're all crying out here like, why are you doing this? We just want to live in peace. But we don't listen. Like, people want peace, and you still go to war. Where is I don't understand that. Like, we want peace, but other powers, they don't want. We just want to live our lives and do whatever. We want to take care of our families. We want to, God dang. I hear one person starve. I heard many people laughing. Yeah, man. That is, poverty, man. Poverty. Like, the world produces more than enough calories to feed everybody on this planet. Of course, there's a lot of animal feed and fuels, biofuels, that is used from food. But there's more than enough calories to feed the entire world. That's for sure. But still, people are starving. I was 12 the first time I went to Pakistan. I was born in Belgium. My father's from there. And I was 11, maybe. 11. That was a culture shock, seeing people on the floor, sometimes without limbs even. Just, there's no middle class. There was the contrast between rich and poor was so huge. And it always left an impression. And then went to the village where my father's from. No running water, no electricity. A different type of life. Stayed there for 2 months the first time. It's there's a different life, and everywhere around the world you have places like that. Ooh, wow, man, Mr. Dylan, you're taking me to quite a journey here. Thank you for being here, by the way. I appreciate you, talking with me, even though it's a camera, but I appreciate you sticking around and conversing with me in the comments.
Hard rains are gonna fall.
Wow.
Oh, what did you meet, my blue-eyed son? And who did you meet, my darling young one? I met a young child beside a dead pony. I met a white man who walked a black dog. I met a young woman whose body was burning. I met a young girl, she gave me a rainbow. I met one man who was wounded in love. I met another man who was wounded in hatred. And it's a hard rains are gonna fall.
Hey, I like it. I like his singing, man, especially with his message. It makes sense. It just works. It works, man. Just in the strumming pattern, it's almost like a campfire song, but not, it's not a happy one. It has that impending doom type of thing, but really addressing some issues and really poetic lines, man. Not always straight to the point, but really it's there. To me, at least. I could be way off, but now he's going on Who Did You Meet? A young child beside a pony, a dead pony. Like, that's facing reality. One, there's always that, when that time in life you have to explain death to a child, maybe a goldfish, a pet. But here it's literally like very brutal, visceral meeting with reality and the loss of that innocence, a white man who walked a black dog, he's not talking about an actual dog, I believe. He's talking about a person of color. Yeah, I think at least. And then a young woman whose body was burning. Maybe that's again war and, maybe nuclear war, napalm, that type of thing. I'm not sure. And also, a young girl, she gave me a rainbow. The contrast, the juxtaposition between innocence. There is that stuff in the world. So it's a crazy world we're living in. That's for sure. And then a man wounded in love, but also a man that wounded in hatred. Great. Oh, man. Wow. Wow. This is only one song. And we checked out a few, which are all, it's just like, some people would be, artists, would be happy if you could write one of these in your entire career. Like how, man, how?
Gonna fall. And what'll you do now, my blue-eyed son?
That's important.
And what'll you do now, my darling young one? I'm a-going back out for the rain starts a-falling. I'll walk to the depths of the deepest dark forest, where the people are many and their hands are all empty, where the pellets of poison are flooding their waters, where the home in the valley meets the damp, dirty prison, and the executioner's face is always well hidden. Where hunger is ugly, where the souls are forgotten, where black is the color, where none is the number.
Ooh.
And I'll tell it and speak it and think it and breathe it, and reflect from the mountains so all souls can see it. And I'll stand on the ocean until I start sinking, but I'll know my song well before I start singing. And it's a hard, and it's a hard rains are gonna fall.
Wow. Man, this is musical poetry. This is musical literature. This is, people always mention that Nobel Prize, of course, all that, that is, it makes sense. This is not, oh man, it's, I don't want to be like, it's not just a song, just music. There's many great artists out there that talk about many great and important things. And sometimes we just need an uplifting song as well. And there's so many different sides to music, but this is like, it's something else. It's very important. It's, man, it is like those classics we think about when reading. I still have them. I'm still rereading it. I'm reading too many books at the same time. Like George Orwell, the classics that you have to read or classic films that you have to watch, and you can't almost read them daily. You know, I try to read like 3 to 5 classics a year or reread, because like I need like a sci-fi book, a thriller or a fantasy book, you know, just a little bit of brain candy where also important things are talked about. There's a great topics in there. But like this too, like this music, there's classics that you have to listen to. And there's a few other artists too that is almost required listening, you know, like required reading. But it's not like you should do this every day, you know, during the entire day. You need to sprinkle them in and really listen to them like a classic book, you know. Work your way up to a Dostoevsky or something, you know. But yeah, man, I really feel like this is that. Like everybody should at least you don't have to do the entire discography, but at least pick a few songs and really pay attention. You know, it's only a few minutes of your life. Of course, I'm extending it by a lot because I want to talk about it. I don't really have anybody but this camera to do so. And I'm glad that people tune in to do that as well. But it's so, yeah, man, this is required listening, especially nowadays, because it feels like this is, again, an important song, even more so today. I mean, it was important back then, but it feels like that cycle has come around and we're again at the precipice of something important. Because, yeah, man, he's saying, like, I'm going to be there. Oh, man, I just reacted to a song and that was the same sentiment. I forgot who it was. Like, I'm going to be there where injustice is served and I'm going to, yeah. Like where the people are many and their hands are empty, he said, I walk to the depths of the darkest forest. Again, those dark forests he talks about where he was walking in. And there's that famous forest in Japan where really dark things happen, you know, where people go and end their own lives. But yeah, I'll go there, you know, where the pellets of poison are flooding their waters, you know, by the industrialization, or even if knock on wood, you know, if nuclear stuff starts to happen, our water will be poisoned and stuff, you know. It might rain. Nuclear fallout. Wow. Where the home in the valley meets the damn prison. And the executioner's face always well hidden. Very important line, because we see people on the news and we think they are, you know, the people who are playing chess, but they're only the pawns. There's some other people who are hidden that are really the chess players. Wow, where black is the color, where none is the number. Like Africa, a lot of poverty, you know, but there's seems to be like those people are less than in the eyes of the world sometimes. It feels that way. And he says, I'll tell it and speak it and think it and breathe. I don't care what you think, but I'll say it. I'll scream it from the mountaintop so everybody can hear it. Wow. Glad I checked this one out. Very, you know, yeah, well written. Do I need to even say that? It's Dylan, guys. It's Dylan. Amazing song. I'm glad it adds value to my life, this stuff. It really does. And thank you for sharing this with me, this moment. And yeah, it's important to talk about. And I'm glad that many people recommended it. So thank you again. And hope you have a great day. See you in the next one. Goodbye.